Guys, thank you so much for coming out today. It means a lot to us. Thank you. Oh, we stopped a little early. No? So yeah, we're really glad that you guys came out. It's spring, so it's all about springing into action and having a fun time. Let that sun energy really get into us and make something happen today. This is it's very intimate, so you guys will be included in this as well, all right? And so let me introduce you to who we have up here. Right here we have the beautiful Sandy Brown.
Hello, everyone.
Sandy Brown is an actress. She's been acting for a while. She's also diaper commercials, forever baby. So she's here, and she's also a comedian. So she's very funny, and I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you so much. We've worked together in the past, done a couple of shows, and she's been a part of my show, and it's been a huge success. She's usually my headliner, so really good, really good. And right here we have Stacey Janae. I'm sure none of you have ever met her before. Stacey is here. She's stepping into her own. We've known each other for a while. We've had lots of really good conversations. She's really helped me to step into what was blocking me. You have a conversation with someone, you just sharing your heart, right?
Right.
And then they encourage you. And you have these conversations, and then when you get to that place where you're ready to make a move and do something, is because somebody else's language infused you and made that happen, right? So it's important who we have around us, and who, you know what I mean? That matters. Right? So, right behind me we have the beautiful Akiana. Everyone. Akiana is my co-host and my friend. We have a podcast called Lip Smacking the Podcast. Every Wednesday at 9. And we have a lot of fun now. We talk a lot of smack. We talk smack about I love it. And the reason why we do is kind of twofold. Celebrity gossip is fun, right? People just like to hear about stuff. But on the flip side, we always give something of value. So we bring them in with some entertainment, but then we give them something of value. And that's what we do. We do interviews, we have special guests and things like that. And then Akiana also has a line there. You guys had a chance to sit at her table, Kennedy's Coil Oil. So that's a business that she put together. She got out of her way to make something happen. So we're always getting out of our ways, right? To make things happen. So again, guys, thank you for being here. I think I told you enough about myself. I'm an inspirational leader, do public speaking, comedy, producing. I'm sure there's some more stuff. I'll let you know before you leave. All right, so I just wanted to start off the conversation talking about breaking the safe. If you guys, registered, and I sent you to breakmysafe.com. Probably like, what does that mean, right? Well, you have something locked up inside of you. All of us have something locked up inside of us that needs to be released. It needs to be shared. It's a gift. We all have these gifts and purpose, that the reason why we're here. And just like a present, if you don't unwrap the gift, what's the purpose of that? And when you give someone a gift, even though you're giving it to them, the way they receive the gift is your gift, right? So giving, and it's still your gift. One of the problems that we have is that we don't use the right combination to get into the safe. And we're like, well, I don't know what the combination is. I don't know. You've been developing that combination since the day we were born, just like how she's been. So we've been developing that combination, whatever strengths you developed in elementary school, middle school, relationships, family. It all creates these different layers within a side of us, right? So those different layers, they matter, and you have to use those layers as the combination to break your safe. Right? So there's like the different things that you've learned and different things that you've established. But if you have a combination to a safe and you don't take that combination to get into the safe, what good was the combination? So once you know what's inside of you and your strengths, and you develop those and you have your combination, you have to apply it. The one reason why I wanted to do this today is because I've been to a lot of like inspirational speaking, motivational events and things like that, and people get in there and they're real happy. They're like excited, like, oh, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And then they get in their car and they go home, they're like, turn on the TV and you watch someone else's life.
Absolutely.
You get excited in that moment, but then you don't apply the excitement. So I think I want to start with Sandy. Okay. So Sandy, like as we shared with them, you've been in the industry a long time.
Yeah.
But tell us about like your journey. What's it like? How does it make you feel? Just tell them, share who you are with all of us.
Sure. My name is Sandy Brown. I'm a real life Los Angelina. I am from South Central Los Angeles. Maybe you've seen it on the news. Thank you. Thank you. There was that nosy neighbor named Peaches. No. Yeah, so I am from a single mom, a single teenage mom. About to get emotional. Oh my God, what a tissue. And the journey to avoid the landmines that are set up in situations, that can be set up in situations like that, were a blessing from my mom, my family, the church, the community, the village, and so I'm so profoundly grateful for that. I've had, it's all from my mom, from my carriage, my speech, my persistence, is from the creativity that my mom had. And she was an artist. She was a makeup artist back during the Blaxploitation era. You may have seen her in a few of the films too. and she was very adamant about me not being in the business because of her experience. She goes, I don't want you anywhere near that. But we're going to go and do this fun thing, So yeah. I was always encouraged to do the arts, whether it was in acting in preschool or from acting, dancing, languages, all of that, because I was encouraged to do those because it helps to build your character and your abilities in other things. So it was almost like I was always encouraged to do artistic things, but it's like, oh, but you're not going to do that professionally. So that was kind of a disconnect for me because I found so much joy in performing and doing those things. That led me down the road where I was, pre-med, but an artist who was pre-med. And so with the help of a single mom and, daycare, while she had worked 2 and 3 jobs, I was able to cultivate an education here in Los Angeles in public school that got me into a magnet school, that got me into Berkeley, things like that, from a single mom in the hood, with the resources that we have and the vision that what you see around you, you can go beyond that. But take those tools of that, take the culture, take the arts, whatever, and use that as a part of you and walk forth with that. So
that combination.
Yes. So as far as once I was in college and in Berkeley and doing stand-up and doing guest scholars things over at NYU, I really decided, you know what, I want to do the arts. And but using the education from that and infusing that to bless others, to entertain others, to enlighten others. There's so many things that you can do with that. And I encourage that. I encourage that, the singing, the dancing, because it affects how you walk, how you carry yourself, how you express yourself, regardless of what business you end up going into. Expressing ideas is part of that. Engaging people into a thought pattern is part of that. And it sets you apart, and it gives you an advantage, understanding how your body works, how, and to influence others and encourage others. So it was while I was doing stand-up in Bay Area, I entered a comedy competition, and that got me back here to agencies and development deals and TV shows. So I did a lot of TV shows and stand-up, and it's been wonderful. Yeah. And I've seen the evolution of the industry change, because it's completely different now.
Yeah.
As an actress, hello, welcome. as an actress back and the time that I started, you know, it's one of those things where you're waiting to be picked. The days of waiting to be picked are over. You're not sitting there going, what about me? Especially with the onset of reality shows and all of these people that aren't necessarily artists per se, but they're doing whatever as their hustle to fame. It's a different walk than if you are an artist and you're doing the craft, because once you get that opportunity, it's booyah in the performance, and the performances carry you to other opportunities. I don't encourage people who want to do it who just want to be a red carpet queen, where they're like, I'm here for the red carpet, but not the substance that got you there, you know. So I'm blessed that I was able to use all of those tools, the film school, the education, the arts, the writing, the reading, to later build a one-woman show, which is called Oh Yes, She Did, which won the NAACP Award for Best One-Person Show. And what I love about that was it came at a time when the industry was slow overall, even more so for sisters getting work. And with that, I created my own project that toured for 5 years, and thousands of people have seen it, and getting that accolade that has inspired other people to do their own projects too. So I just say that and just to wrap that up, that what I have learned is that, and I'm excited about this new time that you guys have. The reality show people have changed the dynamic, but they've set a template that we all can take part in. You have your cell phone. You can create your own project, whatever that is, whatever business it is that you want to do, and to start building it and build your own free channel and start building your following, your audiences, so that there's people that specifically have their own audience that they market to, that they'll do crowdfunding for. The people who I know that no longer audition, no longer do other things, they're like, I have my audience, and they pay for my next project because they dictate, they'll put in questions. So I'm thinking about putting this in, doing this story. Which one is your preference? And people are donating to that, and it's building that. And they're like, I don't have to worry about waiting for somebody to pick me. Can I get in? Can I get in? Because I built my own. And that's a completely different walk that you have, and you carry yourself differently when you know that you are writer, producer, entrepreneur, director, speaker, things like that, rather than I hope somebody picks me. It's just a wrong. I don't want to say wrong. It's not as effective, and it's not as empowering as what we have today. The cameras that you see around, what's in your phone, is an entire production studio.
Yes.
And you can get programs, and anything you don't know, you can tap on it and learn how to do it from the comfort of your own home, from wherever you are. And that's what's exciting, because it's become a wild, wild west because of that. There's so much content, but if you're fine-tuning your skills and everything that you've been through, there's value in that. The peaks and the valleys, there's such value in that, and if we recognize that and to be able to shape that to speak to others, that is our anointing. Everything that we've been through and our passions are a part of our anointing, and it will come back to us in a myriad of ways, including financially, but also spiritually and things like that. And it leads us to different opportunities where people ask you to do this, people ask you to do that, and you are guided by those steps once you start moving forward in what you are supposed to do, and it will speak to you. That's
Thank you.
so that's
Thank
what
you. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that on so many levels. You mentioned creativity, and that's really important, because we say, a lot of times I say, money is a byproduct of hard work, right? But it's actually a byproduct of creativity and hard work, because hard work can probably get you your 40 hours, right? Hard work. Or you can do your hard work, your 40 hours, and then come home and give to yourself as well. You can still have a regular job, and you can still create something for yourself. So yeah, you have your 40 hours, you get your money for your 40 hours, but then you can be creative, and you don't have to wait for anyone. And I don't need permission to be great, All right, so before we get to Stacy, we're gonna move over to Miss Akiana, right? Akiana, talk to us a little bit about why you do what you do.
Why I do what I do. This whole natural hair thing, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I want to be a natural, but I don't know how to be a natural. So wearing weaves for years, I took my hair out, and my hairdresser was like, we have a problem here. You're gonna have to go through this journey, you know what I mean? It's something called the big chop, where you cut all your hair off. And I was like, well, I can't be bald, so what's option number 2? And she was like, well, you have to, trim your hair off and you have to start over. And I was like, let me think about this. So I thought about it and I said, okay, well, I'll do this, but I have long hair naturally. I'm just gonna grow my hair. So in that, I started doing a lot of research and came up with a few products, and I started putting it on my hair. Went ahead, got 5 inches cut off my hair, which is a big deal for me. And I started using this oil on my hair, and I was getting my hair braided all the time, and my hairdresser was like, what are you using on your hair? Why, your hair is really conditioned, like, what are you using? And I was like, oh, it's this formula I put together. And she said, bring me some. And I said, oh, okay. So I went home and I made it for her, and I took it to her, and then the next month she said, hey, I'm out of oil. I said, oh, then you're calling me because what do you want? She's like, well, I need some more. And I said, well, girl, it wasn't free. It costs money. And she said, well, can you bring me a couple bottles? I said, a couple bottles? She said, yeah. I said, fine. So I brought her 4 bottles. And then the next month she called. She said, hey, can I have some more bottles? And I said, okay, I guess I'll bring you 5. So the next month I bought her 5. And today I bring her about 45 bottles a month. She sells bottles out of her home in Compton. And it's so interesting because I can be somewhere and somebody will be like, are you the girl that does the oil? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. I'm the oil queen. So I do have a 9 to 5. I know Dawn touched on having a 9 to 5. I have a 9 to 5 to support my dream.
Yes.
And I started from the bottom. I do it in my kitchen. My kids help me bottle. We put the labels on in the kitchen. Everything is homemade. All the products are organic. And it's from the heart. And it really helps your hair grow. You know what I mean? And so from the hair oil, I ventured out and said, what could I do for the men? And I have a beard oil now. So now I have depression and headache oil. And my beard balm will be ready probably at the end of the month. So it's just actually just taking a vision and deciding that I can do this. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
People were like, what's your website? I didn't have a website when I first started, but I wasn't scared. I'm not a scary person. I'm a risk taker. I mean, I'm not afraid to jump. I don't want to stand at the edge and I'm watching everyone jump off the edge. And I have on a parachute too. I don't know if my parachute's gonna open, but I'm not scared to jump. If it opens, it opens. If it doesn't and I fall, at least I tried it. So that's kind of my journey.
Thank
All
you.
right. Awesome.
A lot of us, sometimes we can be the viewer. All we want to do is look at what someone else is doing. But we need to be the doer. You know what I mean? We need to do something. You can view all day long, but then you might have learned something from somebody. You know what I mean? Besides, you just have to do something. I'm gonna go to Shenyun. Have you guys been there?
Yes.
I want to go there. It's just so
It's
miraculous.
amazing.
Wow.
And the premise behind that
Yes.
is that power inside of us, that God power, everything that's inside of us, that is what makes life good. And that's what some of us keep locked up because we don't know that we have it. And then some of us know that we have it, but if we admit it, then we have to do something about it, right? So it's so important. Just an example. Some of you might like to draw. Does anyone in here have any drawing talents? Anyone in here? You know how to draw. You're my sister, and I know you. You like to draw?
I used to.
She doesn't like to, but she is an artist.
You're an artist.
She can
That's
draw.
a gift inside of you.
Absolutely.
I trust.
And it's so natural.
You don't even realize it. But do you realize what people feel when they see your art? People say, oh, mind reading. Can you read minds? Can you read minds? Can you read minds? But guess what? We can read minds. In a sense, if I have something in my mind and I write it down and I never uttered a word, and then you took it and you read it inside your head and you never uttered a word, you read my mind. You read what was going on inside of me, right? So that's what we do. So when you have like a skill or a talent, being it drawing, being it speaking, singing, dancing, these are all gifts and talents. When you share those gifts and talents, you make someone else feel good.
Absolutely.
Right? Yes. Don't rob that person of an opportunity to feel good because you're too shy to crack your safe, to break your safe, to use your combination, to find those layers and say, this is where I am. This is where I am, who I am right now, right? All right. Okay. All right, so Stacy, I want you to share with them who you are. And even though you know some of these people in here, I still want you to share who you are. And I want you to share your story, and I just want you to have fun.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Dawn, for this opportunity. Dawn hit me up a few weeks ago via text, and she was like, give me some dates that you're available to speak. And I was like, that's cute. And because my passion is motivational speaking, and Dawn and I used to work together. And in 2016, June 2016, she wrote me a long letter about my gifts and how the world is waiting on it. And Stacy keeps telling God, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. And it really did something to me, and I still have it. And when you asked me about this opportunity, I actually printed it out and had to read it again because it definitely ministered to me. And I thank you for that, because I was fearful, I was afraid. And when she told me that here's the date, here's the time, that nervous excitement had built up, and I was like, okay, this is good, this is good. Then the day started approaching, and fear kind of crept in, and I was like, okay, wait a minute, this is really happening. And it took me to my womb story. And a womb story is actually the story that was given to you while you're in your mother's womb, and because you're connected, and the frequency, whatever vibration she's on, you're feeling it and you're a part of it. And so my mom, picture this with me. She's 20 years old, she's married, and she has a 3-month-old. And she finds out she's pregnant again. So her and my dad decided to terminate the pregnancy. And she was very sick the whole 9 months with my sister, 9+ months. We've got to get it right, because it's a very long time. But needless to say, she was very sick, so they decided to terminate. So that night before that appointment for the abortion, she was watching the 700 Club, which is a religious, kind of like a talk show. And on that show, they were talking about abortions. So she canceled that appointment, and here I am today.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Right, thank you. And when I say womb story, what that is, I have spent my whole entire life, personal, business-wise, every relationship, trying to prove that I was worthy enough to keep.
Oh, wow.
And I've been doing that dance my whole life for my mom, thanking her for keeping me, but trying to prove to her that I was enough. And I've taken that narrative my whole life and assigned it to every aspect of my life. And so with that being said, when that fear crept up, it's time to change that narrative. And it's time, the world is waiting for me, and there's something that I have to do, because God saved me. That was one. You know how they say 3 strikes and you're out?
Wow.
So that was one, the abortion appointment that was canceled. Then my mom went through postpartum depression, and my dad came home right on time, because she was about to toss me down a flight of wooden stairs because of the postpartum. But my dad saved me, so that's 2. And 3 strikes, you're out. I say 3 blessings, you're in, because I'm also a cancer survivor. So I'm just like, God, okay, you're keeping me here for a reason. Thank you. You're keeping me here for a reason, and it's time to release that gift, break that safe, and get out of my comfort zone, get out of my own way. So I just, honestly, I have to thank you for today. Because honestly, this is just the beginning, and so much more to come. But I so appreciate you.
Wow. Thank you.
It's beautiful.
What's funny too is when I sent you the text, and then as soon as I sent her the text, I know Stacy.
Oh yeah. She said, okay, yeah. She said, and don't say you're not ready. I was like, wait a minute. Don't act like you know me. But yeah, she called me out really quick.
I was like,
She said, shut it.
Shut it down before we get it started.
Shut it down.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. These women have great stories to tell. And these stories are not just like, oh, look at me story. It's language. And language is so very, very important. It is so, the way you speak, the things that you say, the way that you talk to yourself is so important, right? So you don't want to talk yourself out of stuff, but you also don't want to talk yourself sick, right? You can't get in your own way. Language is like a spiritual diet, like a spiritual food. Watch what you put in your body. right? If it's poison, if it has a little skull and crossbones and there's a little juice right here, you're not gonna be like, I wonder how it tastes.
Right.
You don't do that. You don't put stuff in your body that's gonna harm you. You don't do that. So you can't put words into your mental system that's going to harm you.
There's two books that I find really interesting and fascinating. Shakti Gawain's Creative Visualization is one. It's a classic. And The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Journaling will unlock intuition. The other thing is on Shakti Gawain, one of the tools she has is by doing the write back. So you write out your goals, your typical day in 20 years. What do you need in 10 years to get that? Cut it in half. In 5 years to get the 10-year goal. What do you need to get done? In 1 year, what do you need to do towards that 5-year goal? You break it down to 6 months. What do I need to do 6 months from now so that in a year from today, I have this? And break it down again, all the way down to this week. What do I need to do this week so I can get my month goal done? Break it down that way. It orders your steps. And you break it down to, what do I need today to get everything done for the week? Then it's not, and I just say this because that was at a time when I was manifesting so quickly, swiftly, things that would have taken years, boom. And you start seeing synchronicities and things, and you know who I need to call? And it all starts to, and you'll start giggling because you're just like, oh, it's here. When you've got it that bright in your mind and so clear, I want this. These are the things that I want. It'll become clear what you need to do. So you're not going to want to sit in the back. You go, oh, you know what? Let me go make this call, or let me go see this. Let me go call so and so. Let me do this. Towards that, it helps to organize your thoughts and to motivate you. Because it truly made it bite-sized,
Absolutely.
And a seeable thing that I know by doing this, I'm going to get to that. If I just keep handling my daily,
that 10-year make it seem like it's intimidating, like I never get there.
But there is something you can do today that's going to affect that.
I love that. I love that. How do they find you on Instagram, and what are your social medias?
My social media, my website is sandybrown.live. You can find me on, Twitter and Instagram at Sandy Brown Live, and on Facebook you can see Sandy Brown Live there too, but also Sandy Brown 007.
DY or DIE?
DY.
Nice, thank you.
Thank you.
And I know you're on Instagram and you do messaging on a daily now, I noticed. Yes? We'll post another too.
Right.
Way more than you were ever doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So Stacey Janice on Instagram and Facebook.
Spell your last name?
Oh, Janisse.
Stacey with the I.
Stacey with an I.
Thank you. Yes. Get that I, very important. All right, and how can they find you?
I am on Instagram. It is KYNEDISKOILOIL. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter under the same name, and that's Kennedy's Koya Oil. And the website is kennedyskoyaoil.com. I'm also on Etsy with Kennedy's Koya Oil.
Yes. For me and Akiana, we have a podcast. When I met Akiana, I'm like, oh my God, someone that can finally understand me. I love this lady. And I was like, we should do a podcast. Did you think I was kidding?
I did.
Yeah.
I definitely
So
did.
then I put everything together. I was like, let's make the pod, did the .com, the this. I made our Instagram page. I got reached back and I said, hey, got everything set up. Everyone's in. I was like, when can you record?
And I was like, okay, she's serious. I guess we need to do this.
Yeah.
So we just recorded on the spot.
Yeah, and we finished our 5th episode. It's every Wednesday at 9 p.m. It's 9 p.m. because typically, your kids are already in the bed already. They're out of the way. And like I said, I can be very inspirational. I can be very funny. And I'm smacking the podcast. Please believe me. It goes down
It definitely
on that
does.
podcast. You're like, oh my gosh, she is. But I like to have a lot of fun. So that's what we do. So if you go, it's before you leave, I'll make sure you guys have it. But it's Lip Smack in the podcast. And like I said, we talk a lot of smack about celebrity news and gossip and everything. And then we also give something of value. And then it's more so of a bridge, because when they listen to our show, then they find out about Kenny's Koya Oil. And they listen to the show, then they find out that I do inspirational messaging and things like that. So that's a huge part of it. So again,
I have something to say really quick. I feel like this is almost like the Twilight Zone. Y'all set me up. Wait a minute. No, honestly, like with every fiber of my being, it's almost you're welcome, invited to Stacy's intervention. Like Stacy, get it together, and I'm so full because, wow. You know, like it's almost like a dream state, and everyone's here, and I have so many friends and family to come and see me, but they're part of this intervention of we're waiting for you.
Right.
We're waiting for you. So
Right.
Dawn,
Coming out
thank
party.
you.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
goodness,
Ooh, a coming out party.
Right? Wow.
And it's so funny because before you guys got here, me and Stacey were talking, and I said, you know, sometimes we think we know what we're getting ready to do. Like, oh, no, I'm getting ready to do, no, I'm getting ready to do.
Please understand.
But there's this guy, the spirit, our spirit was actually, we're a gift. Well, let me ask you guys a question. When you get a Christmas present or a birthday present, it's all nice and it's wrapped. When you finish opening the gift, what happens to the wrapping paper? The wrapping paper is no longer there because what was inside the box is what matters. This is our wrapping paper. Mm-hmm. It's our wrapping paper. It's what's inside the box that matters. Now, if I gave you a present and I gave you that present, when we go to a birthday party, we're waiting for her to open the gift. We want to see her reaction. Yeah. I've gone to places and I get disappointed, like they didn't even open the present in front of me. Like, give me that back, right? You be disappointed. If I give you something and you don't open it, I'll be disappointed. Now, you guys, you know, it's your first time meeting me, and let's just say I didn't share that stuff. I would probably be disappointed in myself. Even let's just say I got here and everything was like, oh my God, everything's exactly what I thought. And then I got within inside of myself and go, well, I'm not gonna say that, and maybe I shouldn't go there, and I shouldn't do this, and blah blah blah. Then I'm not giving that gift. I'm not doing you guys any justice. And me and you in the past, we talked about hoarding. A lot of times we hoard our gifts. People hoard stuff in their closets or under their bed, but sometimes we hoard our gifts, and that's not fair. That's not fair at all.
My advice to the beautiful young lady in the back, in God's presence, you'll find your purpose. It's almost like a little cheat sheet or a life hack. It's so amazing when you're in the presence of God, either meditating, walking, doing something, the whispers, trust that. Because it's like that intuition, and it's like, I was telling my daughter, I was like, it's almost like my intuition is an older me, and setting me up for what's next and what I should be doing. Because everything that I have answered according to what she's whispered to me has come to pass in such a beautiful way. So when I say in God's presence, you'll get some answers, as well as you have to stay plugged into Him. You have to stay connected because that's your power source. Right. I drive an electric car, and I think it's going to take me everywhere without me plugging it in. So once I had to call the tow truck to come get me, because I had went too far and didn't have enough miles. But that just lets me know, no matter how amazing that car is, if you don't plug it into the source, you're not going to go. You're not going to go. So needless to say, the secret hack, the life hack is in the presence of God. You'll find your purpose.
Absolutely. On that note, we are going to wrap things up. I want to thank all of you guys so oh, I messed up my makeup. But thank you guys for coming, and not just coming, but for participating and engaging fully with us. And it matters. We talked about language, and we talked about it being food for the spirit. And I know we ate really good, but the language actually feels really good. I feel very filled up. I feel very satisfied, very happy.
Thank you for watching Life Notes with Dawn Channell and friends. Please make sure you visit breakmysafe.com so you can stay up to date with our next show. You can also stay up to date with uplifting video clips And you'll have access to Life Notes with Dawn Channell, the podcast. And you can stay abreast to any upcoming events that we have coming up. We really want you to come out and enjoy a Break My Safe experience. So again, visit breakmysafe.com, save it to your favorites, and keep in touch.